This program contains coarse language and discusses mature themes. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Because that was the thing that I was talking to my manager about before I called you. I was like, how do I can't say her full handle name,
Right.
which sucks because it's my favorite word in the whole world.
I know. I want to get that on like another collar. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get a custom one there. That's gonna be my next
That
one.
would be hot. Oh my God. Yeah. It's an incredible word because it can be used in so many different ways. Like it could be
Yep.
used in a very derogative way, but also because it does stand for can't understand normal thinking. Oh, hi guys. Welcome back to the Ugly Couch podcast. I'm your host, Darth Ginger, and we're here with Helen. Insert username down here because I can't say the other part. It's incredible. But thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
You have an incredible. I don't know how. I mean, your profile definitely like stood out to me because you just changed your profile picture, but you had that red, and I wore this just for you. I hope you know that.
I appreciate it.
Red looks so good on you. It definitely is
you.
your color because you
It looks
like
great on
leather
you.
too.
Absolutely. Latex, leather, anything sorts because it's a great it not only does it look good, but it's a textual thing for me.
Like the sensory kind of thing.
Yeah. And when I first would see, latex, I would always see black. I felt like that was kind of the what when you usually think of latex or leather, it's always like, the black ones. But I saw red one day. I'm like, oh, I like that. Like, I want to make that my thing. You know what I mean? So that's why I just started wearing red all the time.
Is it hard to like get into latex? I've never worn like latex at all, but I feel like there's like such a process of trying to put like those whole bodysuits that I see people putting on. Like there has to be like some like baby oil and like baby powder or something.
Yeah, there's usually like a little ritual sometimes. Yes. And especially when it comes to shining it too, because if you buy it, sometimes it doesn't come shine like that. Usually it comes like it's very faded or it's got this weird like it doesn't look the nice shiny texture that you see on the pictures. So you have to like usually shine it yourself. Get like a shiner for it, and then you usually do the whole like the powder and stuff. And do all the prep.
It's usually like how every Amazon package shows up like.
Yes. And it was funny because the first time that I bought latex like that, it was shocking because it came in. I'm like, what? This is not what I ordered. But then I'm like, oh wait, I have to actually put it in work, shine it, do all the things, So,
wow, that's incredible. That sounds like a tedious project for sure.
Oh yeah, but sometimes it's like cleaning, It's nice. You just get to shine.
Do you have like a favorite like latex piece that you have?
I don't have necessarily a full body one, but I have two pieces, technically three if you count the shoes. But there's a one that was technically my profile photo that you were referring to. Is that was like the top, and then there was like full. That was my first thing that I ever bought that was red like that. And it's a pair of pants, full length pants, and I have these thigh high boots that I also wear too.
I can't imagine trying to put those on. One, I can't wear heels myself because I'm like a baby giraffe in heels. Like trying to like get it all like latex all the way up your thigh, like that's a lot of work.
It's also really hot when you wear that stuff too.
Oh, I can't imagine it's.
So, yeah, just
I know that everyone else is complaining about the heat, but it's hot here in Arizona.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I've been to Arizona before because I have family that live out there.
Oh,
so yeah, I've been in that Arizona heat. I actually prefer Arizona heat than Chicago heat.
Yeah, because you're from Chicago, which is incredible. I feel like Chicago has been really through my life, like for the past like month or so, that like Chicago, people are going from Chicago to Arizona here. So we welcome you guys, okay?
Hey, I'm always down for some Arizona stuff. I liked Arizona when I was out there. I went in like April though, so it was not super hot. It was actually really nice, yeah. So, but way better than out here. Or I've been to Florida a lot, and the heat in Florida is just it's its own heat. It's a separate parameters versus the rest of the country.
It's a weird time. What's the kink world like? I always like to ask this in different cities. What's the kink world like in Chicago? Like, is it like kind of
Mm,
there or?
it's very much there. But from what I'm noticing in specifically the local scene, it is very like a close knit group. It's not as big compared to other big cities, at least from my own perspective. So,
Because
but
you've,
still,
you've you've been in the lifestyle for like 8 years, been on
yeah,
FetLife for a year. How
yeah.
has that been for you? Because I love that you're on FetLife. It's incredible. I talk about it all the time.
You're wondering just like my kink life experience, or more just like my experience on FetLife?
Yeah, just your experience. Let's start with just your experience on FetLife, because like it's only been a year. So
Yeah.
how did you find FetLife?
Funny story is I was going through a breakup back then, and I knew like I when while I was with in that relationship, I was not actually a part of kink. I had taken a break. So that relationship ended, and so I didn't know about FetLife at the time. I just Googled, apps that you could discover, like, or at least like kink world and stuff like that, and BDSM. Because when I first joined into the kink community, it was through Tumblr. So that Tumblr was what I used.
What a beautiful time. I miss Tumblr. Is Tumblr still a thing?
I think so, but I don't even know if it's like really there anymore. I don't know. I have not used it in years, but that was like my first initial was through Tumblr. So, joined FetLife after that, and it was so much like of a eye opening experience. My first time opening FetLife was I went to the I believe it was K&P was the first area that I went through, and it was totally different than what I had expected, but in a good way. You know what I mean? It made me kind of realize that I may have not have been as kinky as I thought I was, or at least what my experience was before getting into FetLife. And it kind of just opened up a variety of things that I was able to explore and things that I discovered. And actually, aspects that I never did before. So I identified for the longest time as a switch. So even
Okay.
though it was a switch, I my first time bottoming for like a scene, I remember I I did not have a good experience. My first time bottoming for a scene. I know.
Oh
It
no.
was it was pretty bad. So I think from then on forward, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna top. I'm just gonna top. That's it. So that was where a lot of my experience before FetLife was. I was just from topping, and that was it. But coming into FetLife, I had this mindset of that I'm just gonna be open to things and I'm gonna be trying new things, specifically bottoming. That was something that I had set out to do. So
Because you identify yourself as a fuck toy. So
yes.
what is that like? I don't know what because I know like your basics like sub doms, masters, slaves, and whatnot. What would be your personal definition of being a fuck toy?
Um well, first off, I don't necessarily think my definition is endless like what all fuck toys define to be as. First off, so
Right.
it's like my knowledge is obviously going to seem different from what other people might differentiate. But I will say for me, being a fuck toy, it does fall in line closer towards more like a slut, but it's like not really because there's like a fuck doll and then there's a fuck toy. And more like toy is just being kind of this inanimate object of just total free use for like a lot of different types of things. So that's probably like the simplest way that I could put it.
That's how I would think of it too. Like that's I if I could, if they would just, I love that they let us finally put 5 rows on our profile, because that wasn't
Yes,
like that like a year ago, because I've been
I
on FetLife
remember
for
that.
like
Yeah.
almost like I've been on there for almost 10 years now, so it's changed a lot.
Yep.
So, and they were like, by the way, now you can personalize it more. I'm like, oh, cool, like thank you. I'm
I
not just
know.
a brat or prince. I get to be all of them. So
Yep.
because FetLife is a very interesting thing. But you also you have been in the lifestyle for 8 years. Like what got you into the kink world?
honestly, that during that time I was in my early college days and I just
So
wanted
jealous
to
of you
explore.
guys. I'm so jealous.
I was I just wanted to explore things and I think it was just because I had internet buddies that knew about the scene and they told me about it. And I was like, what's that? And then they kind of explained a little bit about what that is and what it entails. And just asked them a lot of questions about it. That's really what it came down to. And they explained to me all types of things like hard limits, soft limits, and all sorts of like different fetishes that are out there. Or at least some of them, because there was ones that identified either as like a switch or a top or a bottom, whichever one. So I did have a variety of friends that were already a part of it that were online and people that would practice that sort of thing online. Um, I did try online just to see if it was something that might have been my thing. It didn't exactly work out per se, but it was from then on I decided to start just seeking out other avenues, and that's where I found Tumblr, and I just took off from there.
Tumblr was a great time. Like the weird things that we did on Tumblr. Please at least don't look up mine. If I don't care. I don't know about you. Me on Tumblr because I was one of those people that I had this community in the kink world on Vine, and it was incredible.
I remember Vine.
I hope we all do. We're not that old
Yeah.
yet. Chill out. But do you have like one like kind of like your earliest like kink memory that like kind of like was like, hey, I'm not a vanilla cone like at all.
Earliest kink memory. At least like would you say something along the lines of what made me realize that I was kinky?
Yeah, yeah, something like
Okay.
that. Yeah,
I
not
would
just your
say
monogamous like missionary style, because we've all done some
okay.
weird shit. This is
I
the
have
Ugly
a
Couch podcast.
yeah, I actually have a distinctive memory of like when I was dating a guy in high school actually. So we were like 17, 18 years old and I just had this urge where like we were having sex and I just really wanted to choke me. I don't know what drove that in me. I don't know where it came from. It just like fascinated me. And just because I would look at his hands, because I don't know, I liked the way his hands looked.
I
I would
love
just,
hands. I have a fetish for hands. There's
exactly.
something
Like,
about it. I don't know why. And I'm like, choke me, do it, please.
yes, exactly. And he was actually taken back by it, and he wouldn't do it necessarily, but that was the moment that I realized, and I'm like, am I weird for that? No, I don't know. So, that was my first memory. I would say is that I realized that I exactly vanilla per se.
Yeah, no. No, choking apparently is not vanilla, or I don't know why. I feel like it happens more often. Hopefully in safe ways. Please,
Yes.
y'all practice safe and sex and stuff. But you have some really interesting other kinks too, because I know you wanted to talk about group play.
Yes, that's something that I've explored as of this year. Um,
Oh, okay.
there's a lot of stuff new that I've been kind of evolving into. As of this year, group play was one of them, and it's just something that I have leaned into more of, thanks to a couple of friends of mine that were able to introduce me to it. Because
Shout out to you guys. Thank you for doing that because we're appreciating it so much.
Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a friend.
up until this year, I actually was monogamous, exclusively monogamous. I would never do anything like that. And then around I want to say December last year, that's when I decided that I would start trying at least polyamory and ethical non-monogamy. Those were the two things I decided to get into and at least start exploring that. And I went to my first orgy. So
So exciting. Oh my God. They're thrilling, right? It's
they
overwhelming but
are.
thrilling at the same time.
Oh yes, yes. I explicitly told my buddy that brought me with. It's like I want to do everything and be everywhere at the same time in this place. And within like the first 30 minutes, I got just completely slammed into one room with like 7 or 8 people, which
Wow.
it was a fantastic night. That was only my first one. I've been to like I think 2 more since then, and I'm supposed to go to one later this week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a fun time, and feeling out the vibe with having that many people around is like a lot.
Oh yeah, it was definitely overwhelming. I was very, very shy at first because it's like I just met you and we're about to get have sex.
Yeah, that is like something that I've learned just from my personal experiences doing these game bangs that I'm doing.
Yeah.
It can be a lot, like just like not knowing the person, but like being able to have that connection in that kind of a way is like really nice.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Luckily, a lot of the orgies I've been to, it's a lot of the same people, and sometimes people take turns hosting. So a lot of it is with people that I'm already familiar with from the first time. So makes it a little bit easier.
Oh, but it's a lot, and you also do you talk on your profile about how you do rope play, which I love. I just got into that.
Yes. Yes. It's
I,
very it's a lot of fun.
because you I think you said that you have been suspended before.
Technically I've never been in a full suspension, not yet. I've done partial suspensions though. I'm working towards getting into a full suspension, hopefully. Hopefully
Let me
soon.
let me tell you, it's incredible. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, when I went to San Diego and got fully suspended, I felt like like I weighed like air. Like it was so amazing, and like taking all that rope off like gives you such a weird feeling. It's like,
It's this
no, put it
weird,
back
yeah.
on.
Yep. Yep. I've done partial suspensions and I've been there where I felt that sense of floating that you get afterwards and like the endorphins. It's fantastic. Yeah.
And you also like doing impact play, which I saw. I think you wrote that you do you're into looking to ultraviolet.
Wait, I'm looking into for ultraviolet, or was it you talking about for like wand stuff?
Yeah, the wand stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I have had that done to me before.
How
Yeah.
was that?
It was a lot of fun. I will say it was with a guy that I met earlier this year, and he was actually the first guy to also introduce me to rope or like what it's like to feel being in rope. And he also had this like, I guess makeshift like spank bench that he made himself. So it was like impact and then also like wand play, like using that on me at the same time, and also using um, a like sex toys on me, like an actual one, like on my clit and stuff like that. At the same time, it was just overstimulating, but this way.
That's incredible. Like it takes a lot to like try and even like do that. I'm so scared to do it. I should do it. Now I feel better knowing that you did it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. I've known some people that do the whole cattle prod thing too, and I've not really experienced the cattle prod as of yet, but I hope to. It's just I've done the one play and stuff like that. He had the attachment too, where it's basically where you attach it. I don't know the actual terminology. Had this attachment where you attach it to your hip, and therefore the wand goes through your fingertips.
Oh,
And then he started spanking me like that. So that was fun.
that is
Enjoyed that.
like I don't know if I can ask this question now because that already sounds intense to me. What has been like your most intense like experience?
I have to think real hard for that one because I can take a lot of pain. I will say that. Let's see. I think what it's there's two top things that I've experienced that were probably pretty intense for me, and one was called a rat tail whip, and it
Oh
basically
yeah.
what it, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That took me so long till I was like, I know what that is. If you guys don't know what a reptile, just Google it,
yeah.
please.
Google it. Yep. Add it to your cart too while you're at it. No, okay.
Right? They're incredible.
Yeah. So I had that. I only was able to take maybe a couple of hits. It left some pretty nasty marks on me, which I was happy about. But you know, um, the other thing that was called a vampire glove. I've been hit with a vampire glove before, and that was interesting to say the
Okay,
least.
that one I want to elaborate. What is a vampire glove?
It's think of just like a leather glove you wear on your hand. It's got little tiny bunch of like little needles all over it.
Oh, that's intense.
Yeah. Yeah. At the same first orgy that I went to, I was co-topped by 2 guys. And both of them on either one of their hands had the vampire gloves on too. So it's like my legs were tied up in futomomos, and then yeah, they both just like took turns beating my ass on each cheek and stuff.
That's incredible. I love that. Impact Play is so much fun. Like as long as everyone does it the right way, like
Exactly.
it's so much fun. And like people make fun of me all the time that well, one, I walk around with like bruises on my legs and stuff because I rent all my furniture in my tiny apartment. That's not my fault. Okay. They exist without my permission. But like I feel like I'm so proud if I like have like marks on like my ass. I think that's really awesome. It tells a good story.
At the same time, if you have bruises too, and it's like, for example, if you're just sitting at my desk and I'm just working and I feel the bruises, it's like a reminder of what happened. And it's just like a nice little reminder of a good memory. And it just helps you get through the week. You know what I mean? Like if you're working or if you have a lot going on, um, it's just nice. You know, I've been recovering myself with some bruises that are on me right now. These bruises have been on me for, I want to say a week and a half, actually.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. These are just bite marks, though.
But the bite marks up for a week and a half. That's a long time.
I know. For some reason, my legs and my arms bruise really easily, but I'm learning that my ass does not. So
I
that's been
know,
a
right?
big
It's such a
struggle.
bummer.
I know.
I want it to last so much longer because they just look so pretty. I just look in the mirror and I go, yeah, I did that. Like, oh yeah.
Exactly. I totally relate with that.
What is something that you're like a new kink that you're more curious about recently?
Mm, I will say my kink types of fetishes that I'm more interested are kind of more intense. At least some of the ones that I'm curious about, obviously more like the one play like we talked about. I want to do more of like the cattle prod eventually. Some other stuff that I have been wanting to get like at least try was just like knife play. You know, I've never done that before, but it's something that I've considered on wanting to try or at least incorporate that with other types of scenes, like um, maybe not rope, but with like impact or like degrading type of scenes.
That it's such a hot time and like trying to like find someone that's willing to do it, especially when it comes to degradation, because everyone tries to be as sensitive as possible when it comes to something like that. It's hard to find that right person that you can
Oh
feel
yeah,
safe with. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So you
something that takes like a lot of trust with finding somebody that you can do that with, you know.
have
Emotional
you
sadism, another one. Yeah.
yeah, have you ever had like a bad experience with something like that?
Specifically with like knife play or just bad experiences in general.
Just in general. Yeah.
Um, I did have one recently that I did sort of speak out about with like a previous partner. There was a time during an impact scene. Well, it was rope and it was impact. Um, so they tied my arms in like a TK. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like I think it's called Takate Kote. I think is the proper name. So it's like your arms are tied behind your back. You don't have any use of your hands, right? This type of tie can be pretty dangerous if you're left in it for too long, just because there's a lot of nerves in your
Right. Yeah. It can
arms.
cut off your
If
blood
you
pressure and
not
yeah.
even just here, but you can accidentally yeah, have some permanent nerve damage in your arms. So it was their first time tying me like that, and I was a little uncomfortable that they did that for a first time, like an impact scene too. So they tied me in that, and for some reason they grabbed like me because they felt the need to do types of like bodily movement stuff. Um, they grabbed around my thighs and lifted me up like from behind, so I didn't have any sort of like motion to keep myself like preventing myself from falling forward. So I almost fell forward, and there was a table there with where I was supposed to go, and it was just incredibly unsafe. I immediately, like, the start of the scene was just, I'm already scared. I already feel uncomfortable. I don't even know if I want to do this. just from laying the groundwork there. And then when they started doing impact on me, so keep in mind I was still in the TK, laying down on my face, on like putting all that pressure on your chest and your neck and all that stuff. Being in that for too long, your fingers can start turning purple too. So it's really important that your partner or your top is keeping an eye on that too. But they were doing impact, and this is the thing that you talked about earlier, where it's super important to be safe with impact. And it's all, for me, it's like it's important to do a warm-up, like whether it be stingy or light or just something just to have fun with it. They did not do any of that, even though that was something I had requested that they do. They were going incredibly too hard for me. It was just, it felt more painful than usual. Um, and I was expressing that. I expressed that with them. I said, "Hey, this is painful. This is painful." And they were not listening or regarding my comments. And a couple more hits later, I said yellow. I actually called yellow, right? Usually, so when I called yellow, for us, the way that we've identified that is usually like that's where you check in, you slow down, or you move on to something else, right? Which they didn't move on to something else, but they still checked in. And I had to explain to them for the fifth or sixth time that what you're doing is incredibly too much and it's way too fast for me. And I am not, like, it's painful. It hurts. Like, that's the thing. So there was not really much of a buildup to that. And then, so we proceeded with the scene. And again, it was hurting. So I literally had to call red.
Wow.
That was the first time that I ever had to call red with them. And I think the scariest part about all of that is when I did call red, they did not um, really acknowledge it right away. They
Oh no.
they didn't stop. So they did stop hitting. However, they expressed that they were like upset that I said red. And then second, they
What the
started
fuck?
to
What? They got upset?
they also tried to convince me to keep going. Like, and they were like, and I kept saying, "No, I don't want to keep going. No, I don't want to." And they said, "Well, why don't we do, less hits than what's left?" They were trying to like negotiate. And it's like I was not in the state of mind
I'm
to
done. I called
negotiate.
red.
I know. So, yeah, that was not a good experience for me.
One, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Like, I dislike so many people that don't respect like our color like signs and saying the word no. Like, I'm done. No, you can keep going. I'm sorry. Are you taking these lashings? Like,
Right. I know. Yeah.
it's awful because I've had a similar experience like that too, and the guy wouldn't listen to me saying no, and it's like
Oh
I
no.
get that some people will like being like there's a scene and be like tee hee no, but once you get to like color coding it, it's like you have to listen to that for sure.
Oh yeah.
And that I'm gonna find this person and fucking murder them. Keep that on fucking record. I don't care, everyone, because that's just so not okay. Because
Yeah.
those are the kind of people that really mess up, the kink world. Because of course it's like it's very exciting to like, do some new stuff like that. Like, oh, like spank me, like tee hee. But when someone like that takes advantage of someone in like you were in a very vulnerable like
Yeah.
situation. Literally, you could not like get
Yeah.
out of it.
I was very vulnerable and I was in such a state of mind where it's like I was not really cohesive enough to like negotiate things or to like
Yeah.
be argued with or things like that. I just didn't want to do it. Um
Well, I hope you
so
never see that person again because that person, I'm sorry, you're a fucking piece of shit. Um, get out of the fucking lifestyle because you're awful and don't care about people's like physical and mental emotions. Not cool
yeah.
at all.
Soon
But
enough after that scene happened, I lost a lot of trust in them, and unfortunately that relationship ended after like a
yeah,
couple
because you have to
weeks.
build that up with, like you're always going to be skeptical about doing, because I'm sure you wanted to
Yeah.
have fun in that because it
Oh
sounds
yeah.
fun if he had done it right, if they had done it right.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I hope that you know get to do something like that how you envisioned it because that sounds
Yeah.
incredible.
I haven't been
There's plenty of
able
people.
that I ever since then, I'll be honest, I haven't had an impact scene since then. But that's just because it's like I don't know if I want to anytime soon. That's just because of that.
Take your time on it because it takes a lot. Like what I used to I had a guy that I knew. He's an incredible rope breaker and he's awesome and I still love him to death. And he like made sure that I was in the like most true and like solid mindset before we did anything. And there wasn't even a play. Like it was just like him rigging me up and stuff. But you have to be in such a mindset to do like any kind of scene. And for someone to
Yep.
take advantage of our brains like that and then try and push it more is awful. And I'm so sorry you went through that.
Uh,
But on that note, I hope that you have a good time at your next because you said you're going to something soon.
yes, it's literally just like a low key orgy that a bunch of people threw together. So
Orgies are the best. I swear to God, I went to a Barbie and Ken themed one the other day and it was incredible.
really, what's
It
cool
was a
is they the themes. I didn't realize that for orgies that people did themes, and it's like it's so cool how people
It's
get
so
into it.
fun because you do cosplay and stuff, and I know
Yes,
you like to like get all dressed up. Like, oh,
I know it's a lot of fun. So my very first one, there's actually a photo somewhere on my profile of when I was getting ready for it. But there was a it was a like a toga themed, like I was like called Ides
I
of
saw
March.
it. Yes.
Yeah, so I was total like slutty, like Aphrodite, and it felt amazing.
Yeah.
It was
There's a lot of poppin' parties over in Chicago. It's incredible that there's actually a scene. I never thought of that. So
Oh yeah, there is definitely a scene in Chicago for sure. Yeah, I noticed that it is fairly small and pretty close knit, but we get along.
that's good. I'm super excited for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you're also a Twitch streamer. So if you guys want to check out her Twitch, go watch her game. She's gorgeous. Like, how could you not?
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up? Because you're incredible. If you want to plug something in,
um, I don't know if I want to plug my Twitch stream. I mean, I try to keep
it's
Twitch
okay.
in
Editors,
like
please
that.
remove that I said that. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, it's fine if people want to follow me. That's cool. You know, I am known as Nixel Gaming over on Twitch, Nixil specifically.
And
If you
you're
want to
okay
go
with
follow me.
you're okay with us putting your FetLife?
Of course. Yeah, of
Okay.
course.
I want to make sure everyone's okay with it.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
So what is one like big thing that you're trying to work? Because you are like an amazing artist too as well. Like you're a very creative individual. Are you working on any like big projects lately or?
The entire month of October.
It's spoopy season, y'all. So excited. We made it.
Yep. Yep. The thing is that October I feel like goes by so fast.
I
October
know.
for me is my Christmas. That's
Yes.
my Christmas, you know. And the thing that sucks is that when you hit October, then it's like the rest of the year's just gone. Because after that happens, and then it's like you got Thanksgiving, and then you got Christmas, and then New Year's, and then next thing you know, 2023 is done.
We gotta wait for another Halloween spoopy season, you know? Just leave, just always be October, please. I love the weather in October. I need it so
See that
badly.
the thing is that for me, spooky season is all year round, at least with my streams, because I
Oh
just
yeah, I mean I got my skeleton still
time.
up here. So
Really? Oh my
that's
god.
Joffrey. He's shook all the time.
Nice.
I've never taken him down since I've lived here.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. So yeah, I've been working on a bunch of different cosplays for just the month of October. I do at least one a week for the entire
That's
month.
really good. Well, you all have to follow Helen on FetLife so we can see this because I'm excited to see it. So, oh, this
Excited.
has been the Ugly Couch podcast. Helen, thank you so much. I would editors. I'm so sorry. This is Helen Cunt. I said it once. Okay, once. Not like that last episode where I said it 20 times within 1 minute. I'm sorry, but that's her name. It's a beautiful name. It's a beautiful word. But thank you, Helen, so much for being on the
Thank you for
podcast.
having me. I appreciate that so much.
All right, you guys have a great day. I'll see you later. Still not doing the outro. 50 episodes later. Bye.